The most revealing radio message of the Hungarian GP never made the broadcast. While Charles Leclerc was being celebrated for his pole position, Lewis Hamilton stood in front of the cameras and dismantled himself. "I'm useless. They probably need to change driver." The TV feed cut away. The headlines praised Ferrari. But beneath those words was something deeper, a cry from a driver who feels left out of his own team. And that's where the conspiracy began. Rumors exploded online. Was Hamilton being given different setups? Why did Leclerc test a new rear wing in FP1? And why was Hamilton only allowed to run it later? Bernie Collins, ex-McLaren strategist, tried to shut it down fast. Just driver preference, no conspiracy. But her tone was unusually firm, as if the garage tension had spilt into the media. In F1, when an insider speaks that quickly, it's really just about facts. It's about control. Hamilton didn't just lose pace, he lost trust. And what happened in FP1, behind closed pit walls, might reveal when Ferrari's equal treatment narrative started to crack. If both drivers had the same parts, why did the theory refuse to die? In Hungary's FP1, Charles Leclerc was the first to test an alternate rear wing and beam wing, aerodynamic tweaks not yet used in race trim. Only after that session that Hamilton received the same specification. Officially, the setup was shared, but in F1, timing is everything. To casual fans, it may sound irrelevant, but those inside the paddock know. Who gets new parts first often shapes the direction of development and confidence. Bernie Collins addressed the suspicions head-on. They ran slightly different wings, probably just driver preference. One helps in qualifying, the other in race trim. A logical explanation. Yet, the fact she felt the need to clarify it so directly, and twice, tells its own story. If the goal was to shut down the conspiracy, it backfired. Because even if the difference was small, the context wasn't. After all, Hamilton had just been knocked out in Q2. Leclerc had put the same car on pole. The visual contrast alone was fuel. And in F1, perception spreads faster than facts. When a 7-time world champion calls himself useless, something's broken. And it's not just the setup. After failing to reach Q3, Hamilton faced the cameras and didn't hold back. "It's just me every time. I'm useless. They probably need to change driver." The quote was raw, and yet it vanished from the weekend's main narrative. No Ferrari response, no public backing. Silence. But that silence spoke volumes. This isn't the Hamilton we saw at Mercedes, dissecting every detail, lifting the team around him. In Ferrari Red, his tone was distant, isolated, like a passenger in someone else's project. The team says they're supporting him. Bernie Collins insists everyone in that team will be working to get the best out of both drivers. But Hamilton's own words tell a different story, not of support, but of disconnection. Because in Formula One, language is rarely literal. "They probably need to change driver" isn't self-blame. It's a coded message, an ultimatum, a call to be heard. Behind closed doors, the mood in Maranello is divided. The constructors' fight with Mercedes demands unity. But inside the garage, it feels like two programs, two paths, and one of them is getting all the podiums. Ferrari says both drivers are treated equally, but equal treatment isn't always equal opportunity. All 5 podiums this season, Leclerc. The pole in Hungary, Leclerc. Hamilton, a sprint win in China, and the growing list of weekends spent in setup limbo. Officially, the SF-25 is the same car. Setup options are open, adjustments are collaborative. But beneath that layer of transparency, subtle choices shape outcomes. Who gets new parts first? Whose preferences dictate baseline? Who's leading the simulator correlation? Bernie Collins defends Ferrari's logic. One wing is slightly better for qualifying, the other for race conditions. I imagine it's just driver preference. A fair point, but it misses the larger pattern. Leclerc gets the lead role. Hamilton adapts. In performance-driven systems, those micro decisions become macro signals. When Hamilton arrived, it was sold as a partnership of equals, but the data paints a different reality. One driver is building the project around his style. The other is still trying to find the entry point. And in a team chasing McLaren for the constructors, subtle favoritism isn't an accident, it's a strategy. One they'll never admit, but one Hamilton is beginning to read between the laps. Ferrari is chasing McLaren, but they may be losing themselves in the process. On paper, this is their strongest pairing in a decade. Leclerc, the homegrown hope. Hamilton, the legend brought in to unlock a title. Together, they should be a constructor's dream. Instead, they're becoming a case study in divergence. Every weekend tells the same story. Leclerc sharp from Friday, at ease with the car's edge. Hamilton searching, adjusting, slipping behind. And as the technical team focuses on staying ahead of Mercedes, the internal divide is being buried under strategy briefings and PR statements. Ferrari says both drivers are key, but in a recent strategy podcast, Bernie Collins let something slip. Ferrari have a real opportunity in the constructors because both of the drivers are hopefully scoring points. Hopefully, not consistently, not equally. It's a subtle word, but in F1, subtleties matter. What happens when one driver becomes essential and the other optional? With 10 races left, Ferrari must decide, build around the one bringing results or fix the connection with the one they signed to win it all. Because if this silence continues, the break won't just be technical, it will be cultural, irreversible. Telemetry can tell you where a driver is slow, but it can't tell you when he's given up. Behind Hamilton's Q2 elimination in Hungary, the numbers were there. Slower Sector 1, unstable rear through turns 4 and 11. Ferrari engineers will say the grip delta was manageable, that he just didn't extract it. But numbers aren't the problem, belief is. After the session, Hamilton didn't ask for more data. He didn't debrief long. His comments weren't analytical, they were existential. They probably need to change driver. That's not setup frustration, that's institutional detachment. Inside Ferrari, the engineers insist they're supporting him. Bernie Collins repeated it. Everyone in that team will be working to get the best out of both drivers. It's the right thing to say. But off record, one phrase keeps resurfacing among Maranello insiders. We're still trying to understand what he needs. Still trying. After half a season. After a move that shook the sport. Trust in F1 isn't declared, it's felt in the tone of a debrief, the order of new parts, the silence after a bad lap. And Hamilton, master of reading beyond numbers, knows exactly when the energy shifts. And this summer break, it's colder than usual. In Formula One, power doesn't change with press releases. It changes with who sets the baseline. Since the Hungarian GP, internal operations at Ferrari haven't shifted dramatically. No major staff reshuffle, no public recalibration. But under the surface, roles are hardening. Leclerc is leading simulator feedback. His driving style is defining the SF-25's development path. Every update is first filtered through his hands. That's not favoritism, that's momentum, earned through performance, reinforced by silence. Hamilton, meanwhile, isn't pushing back. His quotes are sparse, his body language guarded. For a driver known for reshaping teams around his feel, this version is passive, detached, not by lack of skill, but by absence of alignment. Even Bernie Collins, trying to calm speculation, subtly confirmed the hierarchy. Leclerc ran the new wing first. Hamilton adopted it after. In F1, order matters. Influence isn't stated, it's felt. And who gets what when? With McLaren pulling away and Mercedes stumbling, Ferrari knows the path of least resistance. Double down on what's working. And right now, that's Leclerc. But short-term stability can hide long-term fractures. Because no car setup can fix a driver who's no longer building the team, just surviving in it. The summer break didn't calm the tension. It crystallized it. In Maranello, the walls are quiet. No drama, no leaks. Just a team preparing for Zandvoort with one goal. Stay ahead of Mercedes, keep pressure on McLaren. But behind the calm, the dynamics are set. Leclerc returns as the lead architect. His car, his setup, his feedback loops. Hamilton, he returns with something harder to quantify. Doubt. Not in his own ability, but in what Ferrari really wants from him. No team admits to sidelining a driver. It happens through inertia, through preference, through subtle deprioritization. Hamilton's not being pushed out. He's being outpaced by a system that no longer bends for him. But Zandvoort offers something different. High-speed rhythm, brake confidence, setup nuance, a circuit where feel matters more than formula. If Hamilton wants to shift the narrative, this is the battlefield. Because at this point, every outlap is a message. Every radio call is a negotiation. Every result a referendum. And when the green light hits in FP1, the real telemetry won't just show grip or power. It'll show who still believes and who's already letting go.